Chapter 1. 1. Surgery is a success. You are listening at FameTV.info. City Hospital, Seoul. Inside the operation theater, the medical team began the angioplasty on the patient. After checking for any last-minute changes in the patient's blood pressure, one of the team members gestured his teammate to proceed. The young man stood there rooted to the ground with his hands nervously shaking. Realizing the surgery was not yet started, the guy looked at his trembling teammate. "What you are doing? Begin!" he shouted. The young man was not responding and still trembling with fear of messing up. Frustrated, the other doctor left his place and walked over to the young man. "Are you crazy? This is a life we're talking about here." He scolded, but this backfired as it only made the young doctor panic more. Watching the spectacle through the large glass screen, the young female doctor in her early 20s frowned at the useless bickering and placed her coffee cup to the side before getting up from her seat. "I said beg, I'll take over from here," a strong voice interrupted. All eyes turned to the gorgeous young female doctor entering the operating room neatly dressed in navy blue scrubs. She had a very confident and alluring aura that grabbed the attention of any individual. Walking over to the patient, she stretched out her palm and asked, "Patient's condition." The assisting doctor immediately handed her the patient's file and gave her a brief yet detailed report. "The patient is a mom who just gave birth this afternoon. Right after the delivery, the gynecologist on site informed that she was feeling a sharp pain in her head and her blood pressure shot up. We suspect it's postpartum heartburn." The young female surgeon completed her statement. Closing the blue file, she handed it back and gave quick and clear instructions about the surgery. "Let's start the surgery," she instructed, to which all the teammates nodded and cautiously opened the patient up. The young female surgeon began the angioplasty and found the blocked artery. The first 90 minutes were a crucial part of this surgery, as the blockage could lead to a heart failure if not taken care of immediately. About half an hour later, the blockage was removed from the aorta and the surgery was declared a success. Soo-min stepped away from the operating table and turned to the other teammates, before she informed. "The blockage is removed. Just suture her up and let the family members know about her condition." All the teammates smiled and thanked Soo-min, because without her, the surgery would have been a disaster. Soo-min was about to leave and the sight of the terrified young man weeping in the corner caught her eyes. Walking over to him, she handed him a tissue and smiled. "Hey, it's okay. I was nervous too when I first came here, and it's totally normal to be scared. That just shows how considerate you are towards you patient. But if your fears start controlling your ability to perform a surgery, that's when they become a problem. It's okay to be scared, and mistakes can happen by anyone." The young man looked up at Soo-min and sniffed as his tears slowly came to a stop. She paused and placed her palm on her heart while looking down at the young man in the corner. "You see, your patients trust you blindly with their lives for a reason. That's why it's super important for us to trust ourselves too. So just believe in yourself." Hearing her words, a passion ignited in the young surgeon and he vigorously nodded as he pulled himself together and no longer looked like a wrecked mess. Inside the nursery, Soo-min was quietly observing the one-day-old baby who was soundly sleeping in the crib. Gently touching his nose, she smiled and whispered, "Hey there, little one, welcome to the world. I know it's a bit complicated, but I think you'll fit in just fine. And don't worry, your mommy is safe. Dr. Park, you've been called in the cardiology department," a hospital staff informed. "I'll be right there," Soo-min replied. "And I know this is a bit too much of me to ask, but take good care of mommy when you're grown up and a little more stronger, okay?" she softly spoke. Find authorized novels in faster updates, better experience. Please click #49112471971973193559 for visiting. Stroking the baby's soft and rosy cheeks one last time, she left the nursery room. Outside the cardiology department. Just before she entered the cardiology department, a young woman pulled her aside and asked, "What are you still doing here? You're supposed to be home." Soo Min chuckled and said, "An emergency came up during the intern's examination, so I had to stick around to help out." Flicking her friend's forehead, the young woman replied, "Park Soo Min, you fool. I told you if you don't take rest the next person getting a heart attack will be you." Soo Min rolled her eyes and sarcastically commented, "Okay, Dyar. Olivia Cho. I will listen to your advice. I'm about to leave now anyway." Olivia nodded and smiled, "Great. And just before you go." She joined both palms and pouted. "Please help with this case." Soo Min winked and playfully said, "Your wish is my command." Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.